after all. You never expect a vampire to carry a gun, huh? You know, after looking up the history of this country, I wish I was in the Old West. Of course, there would not be enough people for me to seek my teeth into, because I was too busy being in Victorian London, going after Lucy and Mina. But, you know, back in the Old West, I would have turned over a new leaf, you know. And I'm not talking about that cheesy Western horror movie they made called Dracula versus Billy the Kid. That was the most cheesiest movie I've ever seen. Even though John Carradine did a good job playing Dracula, even though he was Bela Lugosi standing. But me and the Old West might be interesting. But enough about that. I got another anime vampire franchise I'm going to reveal for you today. This one is based from the manga. And this time it has me in it. But I don't call myself Dracula on this one. This one, I'm from an organization who specializes in hunting vampires. So, I'm saving the human race from the evil of vampires. Even though I don't care about the army getting killed one by one, but I am the ultimate weapon. And the franchise I'm going to reveal for you today is none other than Hellsing. The manga was so popular, they made about 9 or 10 volumes of the manga. And it got so popular that they made this. An animated series of it. Now, this one's a little close to the manga because there are a lot of blood, guts, and gore in it. And some violence. But after, when they were done with this series, they decided to make a brand new series with more bite into it. So they made this. Hellsing Ultimate. Compare from the original animated series, this one has This one, just like the original, have scary scenes, violence, blood, guts, and gore. But Hellsing Ultimate had a little something more than the original animated series. It had sexual graphics into it too. No nudity, just sexuality. That's it. So I wouldn't advise for you parents to let your children watch this animated series. Unless you are a bad parent. So shame on you to let your children watch when they are not allowed to. You'll be sorry if you do. Anyway, what's the story all about is this. In the story, Dracula is no longer Dracula anymore, but he goes by the name of Alucard. And that spells Dracula. spelled backwards. And he has 2 pistols made out of the same metal as the cross. That's what he uses to kill vampires. And if the bullets ain't enough, he goes to his Lovecraftian-like powers, where his entire body becomes eyes, and faces of dogs comes out of his hand and rips the vampire apart. Evil ones, to be precise. But you got to ask yourself, why is he no longer go by the name of Dracula, but called Alucard instead? And why is he helping the Hellsing organization? You see, a long time ago in the Victorian era, Abraham Van Helsing was trying to find Dracula. And Dracula, well, me, he was amazed that Van Helsing was strong-willed and brave enough to come to his castle and ram a stake to his heart. So therefore, he decided to make a deal to Van Helsing, since Van Helsing discovered that he cannot be killed, even with a silver stake. Turns out that Dracula now pities the humans because, being human, they can do whatever they want. And him being immortal gets really, really boring. So therefore, he made a deal with Van Helsing to let him be his ultimate weapon if he's going to start a organization who's specializing in hunting vampires. So he imprisoned him in a dungeon. And from one Van Helsing to the next, his great-great-great-grandson, named Arthur Van Helsing, is dying. And he's trying to keep the organization going, but his brother wants to take over, and he knows how evil he is. So therefore, he goes to his daughter, warning him about her uncle, how evil he is, and trying to kill anybody who tries to stop him. So he tells his daughter to go to the basement floor if anything happens to him. And it did happen. So his daughter went all the way to the basement and opened up the dungeon. And there lies Dracula. And he saved her life and killed the horrible uncle who tried to kill her. So now, the Van Helsing great-great-great-granddaughter grew up to be Sir Integra Hellsing. Of course, I don't know why they call her Sir. I mean, she's a woman. But anyway, she's the head of the organization. And Dracula, now being known as Alucard, decided to work with her. So now in this version, Alucard wants to be dominated by a woman who is in charge of the organization. So she tells him what to do, and he does it. So they have quite of a bond towards one another to make sure that he doesn't go AWOL. But of course, Alucard ain't the only loyal servant who works for her. She also has a trusty butler who goes by the name of Walter C. Dornez, who has an ultimate weapon of very mysterious strings that he uses to cut vampires in half. And one time, Alucard went one-on-one with Walter when Walter was young. Except one time, Alucard appeared in another form. He showed up turning himself into a girl and called himself girly card. But it was short-lived. So Alucard has 3 different stages. One when he's Dracula, another when he's girly card, and another stage where he is Alucard. Of course, one thing you kinda wonder, why does he always smile every time when he talks to everybody? He always has a habit of smiling when he's talking to everybody. He might be a little mad. But of course, the Hellsing organization has a new recruit, a new vampire. But she didn't start it out as a vampire. She was a police girl. And her name is Ceres Victoria. Although others prefer to call her a police girl. But Ceres, she has a backstory too. You see, she didn't start out as a vampire, she started out as a policewoman. Her and her troops were trying to find this Catholic priest who turned into a vampire, and now he's trying to run his own army. And one by one, her friends got infected and turned into zombie-like vampires. And as that priest grabbed Surya, he met Alucard, and Alucard slaughtered his zombie vampire army one by one, while the vampire priest grabbed Surya right in front of him. Alucard did one thing, pointed his gun, and fire. It went right through Surya's, and onto his chest, and the vampire priest turned into dust. But Sirius was dying. So he decided to turn her into a vampire by asking her, does she want to live again? She says yes. So he finally turned her into a vampire and served Hellsing that they have a new recruit. Although everybody calls her police girl, she is a really good soldier. Of course, a lot of people say she was made for fan service because she wears short skirts and saying how buxom she looks. But you don't understand the character about her. At first, she was reluctant of being a vampire. Every time they try to give her blood, she refuses. Until when she starts noticing that there are evil things out there that she needs to gather up her strength, she finally drunk the blood and become more powerful. And the more powerful she gets, the stronger she gets. And they always given her guns. Not just ordinary guns, giant cannon-like rifles that she can handle. Giant cannon-like guns that no mortal man cannot carry, only she can carry. And right, they rip her arm off, that's part of her powers. Now she kept killing vampires with her stumped arm. But here is the biggest problem of all. Turns out that the vampires ain't the only problem that the Hellsing organization are dealing with. They're also dealing with their rival organization, the Vaticans. A bunch of Catholic vampire hunters, and they have a head priest on their side who is very powerful and very holy and hates the Hellsing organization because the Hellsing organization are Protestants and they call them a bunch of heathens and even keep on calling Alucard a devil. Catholics. And then there was a bigger problem. There's also a group of vampire Nazis who are trying to start World War III. Being the vampire and lord of all vampires, there's 3 things I cannot stand. I hate zombies. They're so brain dead. That's why I hate them. 2, I hate zombies. They're such fascists. I even met Adolf Hitler. He's an a-hole. And 3, I hate Satan himself. I know what you're thinking. Just because I'm the lord of all vampires and king of monsters, you think I'm in league with the devil. But no, I hate the devil more than any religious people I know. I want Satan to be destroyed more than anyone I know. And then there are a lot of betrayals and rival companies, and of course other vampires who wants to bring hell on Earth. But no matter what happens, Alucard and Sirius are always there to stop them, no matter what, to protect the Hellsing organization. Now I know what you're thinking. First I review Vampire Hunter D and Hellsing. Let me guess, you think I'm gonna do a crossover theory of Vampire Hunter D meets Alucard? Nah, I don't think so. Maybe. Of course, it's gotta take a lot of time and thought in order for these two to meet. Besides, Vampire Hunter D is in the future, and Alucard is in the present. And he is Dracula, so it's like me meeting my son from the future. And I haven't heard anything about D traveling through time. So, nah. Anyway, if you ask me what I think about the original anime of Hellsing and the Hellsing Ultimate, well, I kind of like the original series because I don't like sexuality in it. But I do admit, Hellsing Ultimate does get my pulse racing. And this is my review of Hellsing. So for those of you who likes this anime review, please leave a comment down below, hit like and subscribe. As for me, I'm heading out dressed cause I want to be a cowboy, baby. Maybe. I might go to the rest. But right now, for those of you who are wondering what's my next review gonna be, I had a talk to Multi-Voice Reviewer. I've been reviewing a lot of vampire stuff, and I want to review something that is not vampire related. Something that I really want to review. I saw the movie, and I want to see, and I saw the movie, I love the movie so much, that I want to review it. And I had a hard time convincing Multi-Voice Reviewer for me to review it. I even begged him. And he asked why, so I showed him why. Now, for those of you who want to know what's my next review is gonna be, here's a little hint. I'm gonna wreck it! Goodie. See you soon. Ha!